Hello, I'm Dr. Tony. I want to thank you for subscribing, and please hit the bell for notifications. And again, I'm attempting to build this healing art, the Big Four process. It is a slow process to develop, but if you know anyone that can benefit from this, because I see results, like I talk about some results with my patients. But what I want to talk about today is the big picture. And what the big picture is I had lunch with a friend of mine named Gary, and we were talking about the big picture, and he made a joke which I thought fits perfectly into this. It's like a woman goes to the doctor and says, every place I touch, it hurts. If I touch my arm, my shoulder, if I touch any part of my body, it hurts. So the doctor watched her touch each spot and said, well, the problem is your finger's broken. So how many times do we look at a specific problem and not the big picture? So what I want you to think about today is look at your life as the big picture, not as you fit in to that picture, but look at the big picture, the big perception of who you are and where you came from. Again, whatever aspect, when you look at the big picture, who you are, what's the first thought that may come to you that says, what's wrong? Well, with the Big Four process, when you have that first thought, that is the thought that is created by your subconscious and not your conscious mind. Remember, there's nothing missing in your life, it's only misplaced in your soul. Your subconscious is your 95%, not the 5%. This is your reality and this is your dreams, the conscious mind. So when you have a thought, what's wrong? That first thought, whatever it is, that's what you want to correct. Because we can talk more about what's really wrong, what's not wrong. It's all relative. Don't forget, the universe doesn't see good or bad. If you drop a brick and a baby off a building, they're both going to hit the ground. The universe doesn't see good or bad. It just is. So your perception is what's so important. So if you have a thought, and again, you are that four-part being, and what we are is we are that spiritual being, and that's your thoughts. So I don't believe that God controls our life. That's my personal belief, because God gives you free will. You can think of any thought you want. And that thought can be your God. It could be whatever you want to call it. Your universe connection. But when you have that thought, that spiritual thought, that thought creates a mental image. So whatever you're having a conflict within yourself, and it could be something like, I don't feel I'm worthy, then that thought creates a mental image of not being worthy, which produces the emotion that fits with not being worthy, which then produces a physical response in the body. That can create a physical response. Now, with the Big Four process, when we blend these four vibrations together, simultaneously, that's when you can automatically create spontaneous healing and have a paradigm shift. And why I say that is because with this chart right here, what I show is that spiritual thoughts 100% infinity. As we enter the mental, emotional, and physical, I look at each part as 25%. So we go from spiritual to mental. You start to have an image in your mind, and then an MRI can start to pick it up, magnetic resonance. So then here you are. And then you can have an emotion, a teardrop, an emotion. You can feel the emotion, and then you can alter physical matter. You can change your body. Because that's what's important, that you know that. So your thought will create your reality. So when you look at this big picture, like the woman with the broken finger, she assumed that every spot hurt because that spot hurt. She didn't see the big picture. So when you find the big picture, and like I said before, I'm not worthy, well, then you have to find the mental image. So again, if someone says I'm not worthy, and we're just going to go through, because this is the process, we go through, let's pick out one of the 7 mental cards in the Big Four process, and let's just pick one out here. And again, when you do this with the process, like I say, I do a free Zoom with you when you buy the cards. You're going to pick out the mental, and I'm not going through how you pick it out, but you would put your sacred geometry on, and then you pick one of the 10 emotional cards. Let's just pick one out, and then you would pick one of the block energy points. Again, this is done different. I'm just doing quickly because of the time and YouTube location. Let's just see why am I not worthy. So what would come out in this case is I do, the third energy center, and the emotion that relates to why I'm not worthy is resentment or bitterness to acceptance. So already, if someone pulled out these two cards, I know that they do resentment to themselves. So what did they do in their life that made them bitter? And again, no one can affect you. They only can affect you how much you allow them to affect you. You can never change the situation, only the way you feel about it. So now we have the mental, which is I do, the emotion, which is acceptance. So what you'll be saying when we do the big four process, I do accept myself for who I am. That's what you'll be saying. And then the block meridian energy point is circulation and sex. And the specific organ point, and this is right there. So the physical block is here. So going back, we now have the mental. The mental part is I do. The emotion part is acceptance. The circulation block point, we know where that is. It's right here on your arm. So now we have the three aspects of the big four. Well, what's the fourth big aspect? Well, the fourth aspect is the spiritual, pulling it all together. So in this case, this person, when he sees a big picture, would say, I do accept myself. He would go into a little state of meditation, and I'm doing this quickly because of the video, but he would go into a meditation state where he would see himself saying, I do accept myself. At that point, he will picture the draining here of the block, the physical block, because that's the physical aspect of who you are. Here's the mental aspect, 25%, 25%, 25%, and then the spiritual part is pulling it together. So here we go, we would say, you would sit there and the person would say, I do accept myself for who I am. I do accept myself for who I am. I believe in myself, I do accept myself. As he's doing that meditation, I would visualize this arm draining. All of what drains out is the resentment and the bitterness and acceptance coming in. So when you connect all four of these vibrations together, you are now going to create a paradigm shift. Normally when I work with patients, we see a teardrop, which means you touch the soul. So this is very important. So again, the big four process, combining those four, look at the big picture, and you do these cards every day in yourself, like tarot card. You would do this every day. Peel back the onion. Be who you want to be. It doesn't matter about your past. That's irrelevant. You have this moment. Remember this, when we all die, we go with nothing anyway. We go with nothing. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter what you own. You go with only nothing except your memories of you and all your loved ones, their memories of you. So please start to readjust your belief system. Start to work on who you are. Find the truth of who you are. Again, any questions, please email me at questionforhealth@gmail.com. questionforhealth@gmail.com. My website is being redone now, so that's findyourblocks.com. And again, any questions, please contact me. I want to thank you. I'm hoping that these short videos can help change some part of you. And also in return, we can help each other, help me spread this word of the Big Four process. I want to thank you again until next time.